It's 8:30 in the morning. I dropped loose at the train station at 6 and then went and played an hour and a half of paddle with some friends. I'm not a morning sports person.
White coffee, please. That's all. Thank you, mate. Cheers. Don't mind me.
What are my sports boxes as well at the same time?
Yeah. Hang on, just getting my sports cup out.
My jockstrap.
I need to shower, but first the heater needs to go on. Come on. Much better. I think in today's video I might talk about the workshop upgrades I'm planning in the next couple of months. Let's do that.
I need to jump on my roof and work out how much lead I need for the value trays that we built yesterday. Let's hop up the roof. I need to go around the back now. That's going to be a lot of lead.
So I've been pretty slack today. I've barely picked up the camera. It's the first full day in the workshop uninterrupted with any other work that I've had in about a week or so. So I just got my head down and cracked on. It's been brilliant. But let's now talk about the upgrades I'm going to make in the workshop over the next 3 months. There is going to be quite a few. This is a not to scale floor plan of this room. This doorway is that there, and that lathe is staying. We'll just scribble that in there. Where I work most of the time and spend all my days is right here. This is my current suspension workbench. It's got a drainage grate built into it, so I leave things on top of it to drain. I made this bench, but it's not ideal. It's made for shocks and forks, so it's got lots of limitations. A low vice so I can hit the forks, and this vice is where I do most of my work. Problem is underneath here, there's no drainage catch, and that's what I need. So I need to modify this so we can only do shocks. I don't need the lower vice anymore, so this will become my shock-only bench. And the 2 toolbox setup, that'll stay how it is. Now I'm waiting for 3 pieces of equipment to arrive. A much larger, better shock dyno, a standalone spring tester, and a shock bleeder. These 3 pieces of kit will revolutionise my specific suspension workshop. Buying these 3 bits of equipment is a turning point in my workshop. It means that I have to dedicate everything to suspension because they're such an investment. They are everything in this workshop, and it means that this is now the point where I have to go 100% suspension to make it work and justify buying those 3 bits of kit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the shock bleeder here, and this section here is going to be my gassing and bleeding station. So I'll have a standalone vice maybe here-ish. I'll have an independent bleeding and gassing station. So I'll rebuild the shocks here and then prep them finally here. That's the plan. And all the bikes are going because this is the 32 amp socket ready for the new dyno, which will be here. I have the spring tester next to it on a bench like I've got over there because it is a bench top spring tester. So this lot, it needs to go. And then I've ordered a ton of pegboards. So this whole space here will all be stock. Categorized stock, oil seals, dust seals, so I've got one of everything in stock that I can use whenever I want. I want to change how I work on suspension. Rather than doing 2 orders a week for everything that I've got in, I want everything here waiting and I'll do a restock order maybe once every 2 weeks. That's what I want to do. And then I need to perfect how I clean the parts. I've currently got a pressurized parts washer, that's what this is here, and with the modifications I made, it's actually a lot better now than it was before. So that is staying for cleaning. And then where this toolbox is, that lot is all going. And in its place is gonna be a rinsing station. So I think I'm gonna get another one of these and then put a parts washer on top with a big tray and just have water in it, heated water, so I can rinse things off after they've been cleaned. So I can clean them, rinse them and dry them all in kind of one section here. That's the plan. And then this corner here is where I'm going to have my dedicated fork service bench. And then I'm going to use one of these toolboxes to make the fork service bench. Rather than have a standalone bench like this with this grate here, I'm going to put it on top of one of these boxes. So I'll have a tube vise and a standard vise on the bench on top of the drainage grates. And then here I'm going to make another drainage grate, but it's going to be on the floor. So when I'm doing like filling of the forks, I can do it standing upright here. So the clamps on the floor, drainage grate underneath. That's the plan for this corner. And then next to the fork bench, I'm going to put far more storage racks, just like this, which I was talking about earlier. So with my motorcycle bench here, that is going to be the layout of my new workshop. And then I'm going to put up solid airline wiring, so I've got outlets at each bench and by the lathe, along with some soft floor matting to finish off the workshop. I am shocked at how easy that came off with just a brush. So that's me fully committing my workshop to suspension servicing. And I've promised myself I'm going to reclaim this room in my workshop when the roof on my house is done. Should be a couple of weeks because it's a mess in here and been taken over by everything house related. Yeah, it's not good.